so she's giving me all kinds of directions.
You have to start again. All the I missed the whole thing.
What?
I missed that part.
For amen.
We need more amen.
Amen, amen. Over this leg. If it's behind me, I'll trip over it, folks. That's it. I'll turn to somebody next to you, and I know, we're in Thanksgiving weekend. A lot of people have been away with family or making their way back, so we've got this huge open room here. We're going to work on this, right, Kevin? But at any rate, if there's somebody nearby you, if not, you may have to stretch and ask them, are you surprised?
Are you surprised?
Nothing surprises you? I feel for you. What happened here? This moved. Hang on.
You were surprised.
I am surprised. I'm
It's
surprised.
not opening. It's not opening.
Surprise. So, because if you aren't surprised, apparently the sheep and the goats are. Both are surprised. The one is surprised because they have done good when they didn't know it. When did we see you, Lord? When did we do all that for you? They asked. The others, the goats, they're surprised because they thought that they probably had done good. But really they were just in it for themselves. And so they say, hey Lord, you know we would have done something if only we'd have known it was you. We would have done it for you. What are they surprised about? Not about the work that they did or didn't do. They know what they did. One group did indeed feed the hungry, welcome the stranger, visit the sick and the imprisoned. But they didn't think much about it. They just knew that was the thing that they were called to do, and they did it. The other group didn't do any of these things, and they didn't think much about it either, what it meant to them. So they're not surprised about the report of their actions, but rather they are surprised to find out that Jesus, the Son of Man, the Son of God, was present when they did the things that they did. In the midst of their actions or their inactions, it is there, therefore, that their interactions with others had an impact because Jesus was there. Paul, in his letter from the Ephesians that we started today, is exuberant. He's excited. He's writing to his church in Ephesus, a people of God who have really gotten it. They got the message. They are living their lives in a way that Paul is saying, I'm hearing all about you everywhere I turn. I hear about your faith. I hear about the great things that are happening in your midst. And he is excited to be writing about that because he hears about the love that the people in the church of Ephesus have for their community. He keeps hearing reports. It's not just because they're there, it's because they're doing something and it's making a difference. And the word is going out into the community that that church in Ephesus is a place of agape love. The love that gives and gives and gives without expecting anything in return. In fact, it's the kind of love that gives to those who have nothing to give back. Not like when we invite somebody over because we expect they're going to invite us back over, but inviting over those who have no way of inviting us back. And that kind of love has become their trademark. He thanks God for their faith that has become so real that they are living it out without so much as thinking about what it means. It's just become a natural part of who they are. To become a blessing for others has become for them a way of life. Just before I left for Nicaragua to help build a new home for a family there, for what I knew was going to be a tremendous experience, a transformative experience, experience. Just before that, I stopped by the office of A Place in Time, over in the warehouses in Chapel Trail, and stopped by there to get some information about their Thanksgiving Day drive, their Baskets of Hope. Some of you who were there Sunday afternoon, November 12th, saw the operation at work. Kevin and I, we were helping push huge carts of canned food and other items and boxes in Elma. We were there, we were making baskets full of food, and it was impressive. And I needed to get some information ahead of time. And so I was sitting in the office of A Place in Time with Donna. Some of you know Donna, the director. And as I sit down there, I hadn't told her I was coming, but she says to me, "Pastor Andreas, it is so good that you are here today. Your timing is perfect." And me, surprised look on my face and saying, "Timing? Perfect? What are you talking about?" "Oh yes," she said, "because today Rose is coming in, and it's her first visit to A Place in Time, and I just know that God sent you here today to talk to her." And I'm like, He did? Okay. What is that? Why is that? Since I didn't know anything about Rose or about her circumstances. Some of you have met Donna. Any of you remember meeting Donna when we did our retreat there at A Place in Time? And if you know her, you could probably say, yeah, she wasn't wrong when she told you that God sent you to this place. So when Rose arrived, we took time together. She needed an emergency basket of food. Check, we were able to get her that. She also needed some clothes, and she looked through and she found some things. Check. She needed some guidance about assistance programs that are available. Check. She needed some ears and some hearts to listen to what she was going through. Check, check, and check. We were able to give her all of that. She told us about a job that she had, and about her mother who lived with her, and her father who had died a year ago, and her daughter who was with her as well. And she told us about the roof that had been damaged already, but after Irma was worse, and about the ceiling in her bedroom that was cracked, and water was coming in, and she had to put a bucket down, and mold was growing. And suddenly I found myself wondering, what am I doing going to Central America to build a house for someone in Nicaragua? And there's someone right here who needs our help. Surprise. Because God was right there with us, transforming us, transforming me and Donna, transforming Rose and others who were there. And as we shared together, as we prayed together, a lot of people who come to A Place of Time for help end up being part of the serving team. Because they don't make distinctions about who are the beggars and who are the receivers. Sometimes you're one, sometimes you're the other. In fact, if you sit and talk to Donna for any length of time, you'll find out that she, the director of the program, initially came there because she needed an emergency box of food. Now she runs the place. It makes me think, how often do we stop and recognize that the people that we come into contact with sometimes may be there to be a blessing for us, or sometimes may be there to be blessed by us, and we miss it because we don't allow ourselves the room to be surprised by the presence of God. when such an encounter shows up, all of a sudden we recognize here is the presence of God right in our midst, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be recognized by our eyes and our ears and our heart and our entire being. I take note that the words of Jesus in Matthew and the words of Paul in Ephesians, and actually even the words of Ezekiel this morning, none of them are written to, by, or about individuals. They are written for and about communities, communities of faith, faithful congregations, nations even. Matthew speaks about nations, and so we need to consider our role not just as individuals, but our responsibility, because we are part of a whole. For example, in a nation, our nation, we find out that 1 in 6 people are hungry. But each year, as a nation, we throw out the equivalent of 68 million perfectly good plates of food every year. Does that surprise you? Never mind sending that plate of broccoli that you don't want to eat. Remember how Mom used to say, there are starving children in fill in the blank wherever she said, right? And so you were like, okay, let me package this up and send it to Africa or China or wherever it is. Guess what? It's a local delivery. Somebody who needs that is right around the corner from us. That starving child is much closer than continents away. And even if we collected 30% of what is thrown away today, we could feed 49 million people. Does that surprise you? You want to make America great again? That would be a great way to start feeding the people who are hungry. Our nation sends tons of rice and corn and aid to developing countries, grains that are there as humanitarian support but often end up flooding the market, and so the local farmers, the local people can't sell their own produce. And so what happens is that they become dependent upon the aid instead of developing their own opportunities and strength. And so here we are with good intentions, giving things away that end up keeping people in bondage. What are we called to do about something like that? What is it that happens when we as a nation have leaders that deny that there is anything called climate change and support the development of fossil fuels instead of green fuels and renewable energy and developing new opportunities because we can see the change coming? I was looking for you, Marissa, right? Can we ask the people of Puerto Rico, can we see the change coming? As Christian people, as people of God, we need, like the people in Ephesians, to be filled with mercy and love that cause us to act. Not so that we could gain our salvation. No, our salvation is a gift from God. It comes to us. It defines us. It makes us who we are, the people of God, as a free gift freely received. But from that gift flow freely mercy and love from our lives into other people's lives so that it can touch them in tangible ways. Mercy and love opens our hearts and our hands, even our pockets, so that we can give. It opens our minds and our spirits so that we can believe that which seems to be impossible is possible with God. It gives us the strength and the power to bring change that can transform our community and our world. That develops close and intimate relationships with Rose locally here as she deals with her situations, and it transforms our acts of care and kindness and assistance into life-changing experiences. And so today I can think with joy and with some pride about the Garcia family in San Rafael del Sur, in the department of Managua, just south of the city, the capital city of Nicaragua, that will soon be able to move into their new home. And it's one thing when it's on paper, and it's another thing when you know the family, and when you know Ricardo and Lilian and Ricardito, her little son, and their family that's going to move into this house, and their lives will be changed, and their community will be changed, and Rosa's life will be changed because of the connections of love and mercy that are being made. And that, my friends, is what the reign of God, that is what Christ the King is all about. And that should be surprising to all of us. It should surprise us with beauty and with love, with God's grace and mercy upon each and every one of us. Thanks be to God. In the name of the Father, and the Son,